Listen to the concern, listen to the concerns, and be able to move from there as we go forward.
Okay, because I was thinking, you know, if we had like a neighborhood meet and greet where, but the thing is, if we could,
Excuse me, Reverend Powell.
Sure.
We have a limited amount of time for this, and you can work out the details for your neighborhood with the chief or his representatives later. Is there anyone else who would like to ask a question of the chief? Well, Chief Blackman, we are so grateful to you for being here and establishing this new line of communication. And as I said, I've been very hard on you, but some of these elements that are coming against you are totally wrong. And I just want to say to you about the FOP. They are in the AFL-CIO because they are a union, and I'm a union person, but because some of their members who are officers are guilty of killing and hurting Black people all over this country, the AFL-CIO has considered a proposal from the other member unions to kick them out of the AFL-CIO. And I know how bad they can be on issues of race and freedom and justice for Black people. So I had a real problem with what they did to you on February 22nd. And I tried to get that guy to call me back, but he hasn't called me back because they are a union, and I respect that they are a union. However, they are not in good standing inside of the AFL-CIO because in some places around the country, they are known to be full of Klan members and other white supremacists. I don't know what's going on here in Columbus, but after I watched them show up the way they showed up on February 22nd, I want you to know I got my eye on them. So you just keep doing your job, and we in the community are gonna stand with you. And I say that now after what they did on February 22nd, because I know exactly who the FOP is. Around the country, they're being challenged by civil rights groups because they got a lot of white supremacists in their organization. So we will not stand for white supremacy coming inside of Columbus against you or anyone else. And I say that with the full weight of our small organization, the Southern Anti-Racism Network. We will not tolerate racism in Columbus coming from people with guns. We will not be afraid of people with guns who are white supremacists. And I just want to let you know that because that helped me to rethink how hard I was on you when they did what they did to you on February 22nd, just to be clear. So you have a good day, Chief Blackman, and we got your back. We got your back.
Thank you, ma'am.
So thank you. You're welcome to stay for the meeting. George Friday, we're moving to the second part of the agenda, which includes hearing reports from our partners. So we'll start with Tricia Conan, and then we'll go with Adrian Chester, and they each have 5 minutes. Thank you. George, you need to unmute yourself. So Tricia, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, if we could have 5 minutes on the great things that are going on with the good. We love Goodwill. We love Goodwill.
Thank you. We love y'all too. Just to my updates, hopefully everyone on this call is a recipient of our monthly mail or electronic mailer with the various activities that are going on. Right now, I will, of course, remind everyone that we are providing free tax preparation services to the community for all members earning $57,000 or less. And that's a critical piece when we look at what happens here in Columbus with a lot of rapid loan organizations. So that's the primary one. Of course, we continue to work with our employers in town in helping to identify the appropriate candidates in work. We also have a great partnership with Safe House Ministries, Able Ministries, and the independent electrical contractors, where we have an electrical helper boot camp, which is free of cost to all participants. And graciously, with the help of local business owners who are electricians, preparing individuals to enter that field. So that's currently going on, and want to make sure everyone's aware of that as well. Any questions for me? Any concerns?
If you could just mention the upcoming events you have this month that will allow job opportunities. If you could just
Give me 1
mention.
second and I will pull those all up. As you know, we have a lot of these coming up. So first of all, on a daily basis, we have workshops and individual support available to help individuals prepare for work. So if you know anyone that is looking for a job, certainly please make sure that they visit our Career Center in Midtown. We are working with the State Department of Corrections and filling their positions. They actually were, that was yesterday. They were with us yesterday. Today we have, today the 10th, we also have the Department of Juvenile Justice who are looking for a variety of positions: corrections officers, social workers, teacher, recreation, food service workers, human resources, and administration, and all that's going on today. We have on the 17th with Oneida. They're looking to hire dye technicians, maintenance technicians, operators, and production for career path. An apprenticeship opportunity is always a great way to not only learn the trade, but secure employment. We have a multi-employer job fair going on the 31st with 200 plus full-time positions, with a variety of employers looking for anyway from administrative assistants, CNAs, RNs, food service, custodial, manufacturing, forklift operator, warehouse support, account merchandisers, delivery CDL drivers. I talked to you about our VITA program already. Let's see, there's really a full calendar of events going on. We have a partnership with Resource MFG every Friday. They're Tuesday and Friday from 9 to 3. They're here with interviewing on the spot. They're looking for over 100 plus individuals ranging from pickers and packers, unloaders, forklift drivers, material handlers, machine operator assistants, machine maintenance, machine operators, and warehouse folks. So that's every Tuesday and Friday from 9 to 3 here at our center. Of course, we're supporting communities who English is not their first language with course classes that are here at our center. And that not only includes English as a second language, but also citizenship classes for those immigrants in our community that want to pursue their US citizenship. We also have a variety of courses that are coming up from our Goodwill Training Academy, from CPR to food service to retail and customer service, floor technician, and an electrical training program that I talked to you about, all happening here in March. I'm happy to forward our communication for all of our March events, should someone not have those readily available?
Well, Tricia, is Denise Eckley the person who has the flyers?
Correct.
Because we have those 3 meetings coming up March 21st through the 23rd. So I'd like to get flyers, particularly for the March 31st big event, so that I can give them out to the parents who seem to always be looking for jobs. And I want to encourage them to
Okay.
take it.
For the March 31st event, okay, how many would you like?
Well, if I could get 50, that would be great. And so I could just do my drive-by over at Midtown and pick them up maybe tomorrow.
Okay, we'll have those for you, Ms. Elman.
Thank you so much, Tricia.
You're welcome.
So now we'll hear from Adrian Chester.
Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to everyone who I haven't met. With the IMA, tomorrow we have a clergy town hall with Charlie Bailey, who's coming to town, who's running for lieutenant governor. And we're also working with Vote Riders with Dr. Monica Spencer to plan a voter education rallies in different parts of the city. And so more information will be coming out about that regarding collaborations over the next couple of weeks. And I think that's about it. Those are the high level things that we've been involved in.
Well, I would appreciate you mentioning that we're working with Executive Pastor John Vaughn from the Ebenezer Church on establishing more of an ending mass incarceration initiative between you, Pastor Flakes, Monica Spencer, and Executive Pastor John Vaughn. And we do have a meeting later this month. So
Yes, ma'am.
were you able to look at the notebook?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, yeah. So we are working with Pastor John Vaughn from Ebenezer. Ms. Elamine put us in contact as it relates to an interfaith and also collaborative effort of ending mass incarceration, and to really bring some of those practices, resources, and tools that are being utilized by Dr. Vaughn and others in other areas to the Columbus, Georgia area. And so I do owe him an email and a phone call just so we can talk through some things prior to our next meeting.
That is important because for Chief Blackman, ending mass incarceration also means addressing crime in our communities, where the overwhelming majority of folks who get the really heavy time happen to be Black and brown men, and significantly Black men in the Columbus community who have many situations of Black men with felonies convictions, and we want to end that. And we end that, and we end mass incarceration. Thank you, Pastor Chester. So now we'll hear from Jennifer Ledeni about the update on autism and Georgia Can. Thank you, Jennifer.
All right, hi everyone. We had a few things come up in legislation. One is Senate Bill 601. This is to create a education savings account up to $6,000 per student. The big thing with this is it came out of the COVID pandemic, how we had the learning pods and parents starting to homeschool their children because they saw how the schools were not able to cater to what would best suit their child's interests and needs. It did pass Senate, so now it's in House. And then, of course, Senate Bill 208, which is funding 5, is to address the large amount of individuals waiting on the now accomplished, which is over 7,000, almost 8, still sitting in the Senate committee. And then there was a new one. Our Representative Calvin Smyrie is actually the co-sponsor. It's going to be House Bill 1013. It just passed House and is awaiting Senate vote. The biggest thing about this is it provides improvement of access to resources to those affected by mental health. And one of my favorite highlights is when it comes to first responders, because sometimes the end result is they go to jail, and that is most of the time not the very appropriate thing to do, because jail is just jail. You're getting pending charges, and really you just need help. You're in crisis. There's oftentimes it's avoidable. And this would help make that the case. It'll give them access to direct resources. It'll actually help with having the behavior health specialists ride with the officers and so forth. We got a couple events coming up for the autism community. There's Brianna Bester, I'm sorry. She has a group called Our Voice for Our Special Children. She has an autism walk coming up on April the 16th. I did share it on the group page at Golden Park from 10 until probably about 1-ish. It just depends how long everyone hangs out. We also have the Autism Resource Fair that's coming up at Cascade Hills Church. And that's going to be Saturday on the 23rd from 10 to 1. This is actually how I started receiving my services. So this is a very good opportunity to share with others who don't know where to even start. I do have an update about fair housing, if that's okay to share. What it was.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, because those Terman folks were at the city council meeting on Tuesday, and Charmaine Crabb appears to be in cahoots with them. I was very concerned about that. So what do you have on fair housing?
Okay, so I spoke with Sharon Dukes during the homebuyers education class that I attended. This is from Urban League. It was a very informative class, but they also touched base on tenant rights and tenant laws. She's going to put me in touch with Metro Fair Housing Services. It's a nonprofit based in Atlanta, but they do come down to Columbus. For now, it's going to be Zoom classes. So I'm working with Pastor Powell and her. We're going to work on possibly bringing those classes down to Columbus, or at least figure out a way to have access to do the Zoom classes. And they also connect them with legal aid, Georgia legal aid directly. And I think if we have more and more of those tenants coming up to them to request legal services, I think that might bring the attention that we need to the situation, because I've done other things and it's just not working.
Thank you, Jennifer. Now we're going to take a quick look at the Columbus Organizing Together strategy chart. So George, could you please put that up? For Chief Blackman, we have a 2-year strategy, Chief Blackman, for what we're calling Columbus Organizing Together. And our 3 primary issues are affordable housing, education equity, and public safety / public health, because in the middle of this pandemic, our public safety and our public health seems to be intertwined. And so I bring people's attention to the list of activities. And George, if you could raise it just a little bit so we can see the activities that are coming up. So we're past the February activities, so we need to look at the March activities. Lower it a little bit, George, because I can't see. We have the Fannie Lou Hamer branch, which is a branch we started here. Danita Gibson Lloyd is a member, as well as I am, and George Roddy in North Carolina. but we'll be celebrating our 1-year anniversary on this coming Sunday. So the Zoom registration link is getting around. And then the meetings I mentioned to Chief Blackman at Warren Williams, Farley Homes, and Elizabeth Canny are coming up. Our very big, what we're calling a SPICE Columbus Organizing Together Summit. So it's not just a parent summit. It's going to be a summit to talk about where we go from November of 2022 as we deal with our priorities of affordable housing, education, equity, and public safety going forward into next year. So I want to encourage folks to come to the June meeting with your ideas of how we can deal with strategies for the next 2 years, because the Housing Authority is likely to give us another MOU, but Jennifer Ledeni and other parents will be running their own parents organization starting in November of this year. So those are the strategies going forward. And you know, we do have a hard stop at noon. So what we have time for now, George, is determining when the June meeting will be. George Friday, by the way, is paid $25 an hour by SARN in order to prepare and facilitate these meetings. And we do like to record the meetings so that we can share them. The recording started late at this meeting, but we will be sharing everything that was said, including my declaration about the FOP that will be shared with all of the 40-something people who receive this, because I want people to understand the reputation of the FOP nationally inside of the AFL-CIO, because they are a union. So let's look at your June calendars. We like doing the meetings on Thursdays because that gives an opportunity for Tricia Conan to be here more likely, and we'll work very hard to make sure all of the other missing partners are here. So I'm looking at June 9th as a possibility for our 11 a.m. meeting. Are there any objections to June 9th? George, I can't see the chat, so I really need you to help me as I facilitate this meeting today.
Jennifer Ledeni can make it so far.
So are there any objections to June 9th? I see Danita did join us. So Danita, could you unmute yourself and do a quick intro?
Good morning. Great meeting, you guys. I've had an opportunity to hear the majority of it. I was excited to hear from our chief of police. My name is Danita Gibson Lloyd, and I proudly represent the multiple facets here with Ms. Teresa Elamine, the Fannie Lou Hamer branch of our WILF organization. We had an opportunity this past Sunday to have a protest in front of the government center to stop the war in Ukraine and to stand in solidarity, asking for folks to be aware and to do their part to help us influence those that we need to influence so that we can get rid of this onslaught that's happening to those innocent folks over there. I'm also proudly working with the families of Farley Homes and Wilson. We have an upcoming meeting next week. And so excited about the work that we're doing here on many, many fronts, and glad to be here with you all this morning.
Thank you, Danita. So I have put us on the calendar for June 9th at 11 a.m. And Chief Blackman, you have a standing invitation So if you can stop by with any requests that you might have for us, and we can let you know. We're starting a neighborhood watch at Cross Creek Apartments where I live. And so I would like to talk with you more about that. We'll have meetings in April and May to set it up. But the children here are so wonderful and they tell everything. So we don't want to have any crimes at Cross Creek Apartments because the children love me and I love them and they tell everything. I find that children make the best neighborhood watch. So one final word from Chief Blackman before we close out. Chief Blackman, it's on you. Thank you.
Okay, yes, ma'am. And as I stated earlier, I look forward to being able to establish even more relationships between the Columbus Police Department and the citizens of our community, because I believe very strongly together we can work to reduce crime. But it's going to take us working together and instilling values in the mindsets of our young people. So do not hesitate to reach out to me to work with your groups. We'll be definitely looking forward to doing so. Thank each of you. God bless you.